Oh, they do it.
What's
Hey,
going on, good people? This is your boy Byron coming back with another live. And a lot of y'all talk about how you don't know how to talk to sellers, you don't know what to say to sellers. Well, in this live, we're going to be talking about how you can learn how to talk to sellers with confidence, be honest, be ethical, and learn how to wholesale real estate. So let's get started, man. You already know what's going to happen, man. I'm going to bring in my guy Cordero and we're gonna break this thing down for y'all, man. So, how you feeling, man? How's the air there in the hills of Tennessee?
stuffy, dude. It's stuffy. Man, I'm
Up in
feeling
the
good, dude.
hills. Who's that? Rick Walk in the hills? In them hills, man.
Yeah, man. You know how we do it, man. We just riding on horses, baling hay. You know what I'm saying? Doing that type of stuff and closing deals, man. Trying to get some people locked up. That's just what we
Man,
do, dude.
trying to get some people locked up, man. So, um, man, ain't the Texas deal that we got going on is crazy, man. Buyer want to go ahead and close so bad. It's like, man, why does this buyer want to close? Like, what do you got going on, man?
Dude, I already told you what the solution is to that. I
No, no,
already
no, not
told
the
you.
solution. I don't care. Dude, I'm not. They ain't a worry crossing my mind. I'm just curious on why is the buyer so ready to close? It's like
Yeah.
we want to close on the 13th. It's like, dude, that's tomorrow.
I've
Like,
literally never had that happen.
it's like, dude, if you really want, like, yeah, usually buyers ain't
But
begging
here's
to
the
close
thing.
right now.
But they got what they're saying is they understand that the tenant in the property can't be out to the 20th, but they're still trying to push the close on the 13th. It's like even if they close on the 13th, they can't do nothing with it
Yeah,
until the 20th.
I don't,
So
I don't know.
what you
It's
doing?
like, is it a 1031 exchange or is
Let
like
us
what's
know,
going?
man. Maybe
Yeah, what's going on, man? But anyways,
might be that 1031 thing.
yeah. But anyways, man, we're gonna talk about how to talk to sellers. We're gonna do a cold call role play. We got three people in here. Put in the chat where you at, where you from, where you watching us right now. Let us know where y'all at, man. Where y'all coming from. We wholesaling nationwide, so no matter where you from, we might be able to use you, man. You might be able to, help the team out. So make sure you comment where you from, where you watching this from. And then if you ready to, level up or you just want to jump on and do a cold call role play, shoot, let us know and we're gonna get connected with you, man, and make it happen.
Yeah, man, and don't be scared, man. Tell us where your hood at. Throw your hood up. Let us know where you at, dog. And once we throw this number off in here, dude, once we get off into it, man, I just want to see who's the first brave soul that's gonna step up. I mean, you know what it is. You ain't got to. I heard Byron said there'd be some folks watching, but don't say nothing, man. Let us know. Talk to us in the chat, dude. Cause we're really here to just to help give y'all information, man. Saint, yeah.
Chris
Shout
Bird
out.
from the St. Louis, man. Chris Bird was up in this thing on the late tilt with us, man. You ain't watched the live last night, dude. Man, we gave out the 100% bulletproof way to get your deal. A lot of people go watch all these different people, trying to learn how to do this thing, man. Man, last night we gave you the straight and narrow way to make
Uh,
it.
dog, we didn't just give you the way to get a deal. That's I think that is the thing. Is a lot of people just talking about how you get a deal. We just gave you a way to start a business, to create a business. And I know a lot of y'all doing this when y'all think about getting a deal. I'm sure most of y'all have this like dream of making it or whatever making it is to you, you breaking through to get to the next level. And like you don't want to be at your 9 to 5. A lot of y'all who's watching this video don't want to be doing the same thing you doing now in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. So there ain't no sense of just telling you how to get one deal. We
Mhm.
telling you how to create yourself a foundation to where that's what make you bulletproof. We not because everybody else talking about is how you get lucky, hit the
Yeah.
lotto. We telling you a bulletproof way that's repeatable, wash, rinse, repeatable. But
Repeat, repeat, repeat.
hello, Anita. I didn't
What's
know
going
Anita
on?
was in Douglasville.
Hey, Nita in Douglasville. Shout out to Nita.
Shout out to me.
Yeah, man. We got a mall day is in Atlanta, ready to go. Say you ready to go, man. Shoot, hey, let's go get it, man. Like I said, man, last night we ran you through the whole deal, man. Oh my God, it was crazy. I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
we was breaking it down so good. I'm like, man, shoot.
And we might listen, y'all. Go watch that video, dude. We're gonna take it down and start selling it.
I'll tell you, I guarantee you that can make people tons of money. Like, dude, dude, I'm just telling you, man.
Dude, man, I had this quote. I think maybe I could pull it up, but it just dang, I can't pull it up. But it speaks to something. I hope I don't want to misquote it, but what you hear, you can forget. What you see, you remember. But what you do, you understand. You actually have a visceral understanding, a true understanding of it. And so they watching this and they hearing us, they listening to us, but please take action on what we talked about last night. So that way it become real because it's just like me and Byron know that what we was talking about. And maybe some people who have already done it, if they watch that, they like, man, that's so true. But if you have not done it, if you ain't done your first deal or got to a place where you're doing deals consistently, then all of that we talked about could just seem like, oh, just, that's a good video. I'm gonna put this up there with that other video I watched and that other video I watched and that other video I watched. Nah, dude. We gave you some real true to life heat, man. Take action on something. Call the
Yeah,
buyers or something.
for
Something.
sure, for sure. 250K a month. Hey, you can go get it, man. You follow the blueprint, you can go get it for sure.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but yeah, man. So let's get into it, man. Let's throw this number up here so people can call in, man. If they want to do this cold call role play, man, we need some people to jump in here. Don't be scared to jump on the phone. That's one big thing, man. You got to get on the phone, man. You got to get on the phone. It's like no matter what you do, you got to get on the phone, man. It's important.
TTP. Dude, and that's my biggest thing why I tell people is just like you can meet, you can go to the meetups, you can meet people, you can watch these lives. And I realize like talking about doing it or doing it don't feel nearly as good as talking about doing it. Really. Ultimately. And so it's just like sometimes you just gotta ante up and make that call, dude. And all is one thing. That's one of my favorite concepts is the one thing concept. And the concept talks about in business and life and your health and your physical health, mental, spiritual health. It's always you can if you think real hard, you can narrow it down to one thing that's ultimately gonna make the difference. And in business, it's talking to people, right? It's talking to people. You got to talk to sellers. You got to talk to buyers. You got to talk to real estate agents. You got to talk to attorneys, closing attorneys. You got to talk to insurance companies, contractors. It's talking to people. So when y'all say, "Man, I don't know, I'm not good at talking to people," what? That's like if you ever heard somebody say, "Man, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to go to school to be in the medical field, but I don't like blood." Have you ever heard somebody say that? And I'm squeamish when it comes to blood. It's just like, well, yep, you can't do that. It's like that's the one thing that you're gonna have to be okay with. So talking to people, and it ain't even just talking to sellers, it's talking to people,
Talking to
period.
buyers, talking to sellers, talking to you may have to talk. Ain't no telling who you have to talk to. You got to talk to people, man, for sure.
No, you have
Um,
to. It's like you can do everything. When we talk about creative avoidance, you could do everything under the sun, and it's not gonna matter if you refuse to talk to people. Either people who want to sell a property that they own, or people who want to buy a property. If you're not talking to them, then nothing. I don't care if you get PropStream or not. I don't care what dialer is the best dialer. Dog, talk to people. That's what's the best dialer. It's the one that allows you to talk to people. What's what's the best text messaging platform? Dog, talk to people, dude. Please talk to somebody.
yeah,
That's it.
you could start by just talking to people, right? Um, And I would say the first people you need to talk to the real estate agents. Like, just go talk to some agents and just try to see, hey, are you working with investors, right? Are
Yeah.
you working with investors? Are you working with people who buy properties cash as is? And we talked about this last night. What happens if you reach out to 10 investors and none of them are working with investors? Call 100 of them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, dude, if I told you that, hey, if you call 100 agents and ask them to do their work with investors, then you're gonna be able to quit your 9 to 5. You're gonna be able to move out of wherever you stay at to move in something that's even more ridiculous. You're gonna be able to you're gonna be able to basically live life on your own terms. If I
You gonna
told
be
you,
yeah.
you're gonna be making stupid money. If I told you that, would you do it? You know what I'm saying? You would do it then. It's like what entrepreneurship is putting in the work and not just getting the reward right then. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What do they call it? Deferred gratification. It's like you're not gonna get the reward right then. You gotta
Yeah.
keep going and going and going and going and going. You keep calling up people. I was talking about last night. It's like, dude, I was on the agent that I met that changed everything for me. I was on the phone like 10:30 at night calling and finally ran into him. Boom. Pretty quick conversation. He was like, I had all these conversations with all these other agents. Got on the phone with him and I was like, hey, I heard that you work with investors. Like, yeah, we got a group of investors that we, find properties for. Just email me at da 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 da. I was like, yep, I did it. And boom. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
deal, 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 deal. The first deal I did with him, like I had done, my 30K deal, but after that, I was doing like 6, 4, 5, 8 was like the biggest I got after that. My first deal with him, 20K. All right, then let go. It was like we was out to the races, man. So like people want to put in a little work and think they supposed to get great results, right?
Yeah. And I think, dude, you hit that spot on. And I think speaking to what you said is that's the name of this game is you get is delayed gratification. You're not getting I think we're so used to I work an hour, I get paid at the end of the week or bi-weekly. With this, you're building something. And consider this, the last thing to grow on a tree is the fruit. That's the last thing that you get. And no more than the day you plant the seed can you eat the fruit. The day you start making calls do you get paid. You're building something. And you got to think about this. Don't compare it to what you've done thus far, because what you've done thus far is what probably, like me, you see what the people around you do. They're not doing this. It's probably working a 9 to 5. Some people might be off into the street life. Whatever your reality is, I'm not judging, but I'm saying it's not this. And so you got to think if you really want a legitimate business, then it's just like a tree. It's just like a house, just like we was talking last night. Anything needs a solid foundation, and you're building, and then you get to live in the house. The moment that you start digging down for the foundation, you do not get to live in it. It's the last thing you do, and so, and honestly, getting deal. That's not even having the business complete. Really, is when you can look back and say, I didn't put the team together, and I'm sitting back. I'm the coach on the sidelines, and I don't actually have to go make the jumper, make the layup, cross the people over. But I can tell I got the right person who can do that. But I can put the play together and the strategy together. That's really when you got to almost close to a complete house. That's really when you get back to sit back and get the fruits. And so if we're talking about business, I just wanted to say that to let y'all know that it's not it's not nor has it ever been. And this is where I didn't realize this coming into it. Nobody showed me this. It's not okay, you get started and I get paid right away. No, it's delayed gratification. And you got to be willing to build because you know that okay, I'm building now, but when you delay your gratification, the reward is very large. It's way bigger. It's exponentially larger than what you can get. And like I said this quote before: the devil gives to you today what he takes from you tomorrow. And so The vice versa, or the flip side of that is then what you're willing to wait for tomorrow is going to be, so much more fruitful and so much more beneficial to you, right? And so be okay with waiting. That's what I'm saying. Not only was Byron dead on when he says just like you don't get paid right away. It's like you put the work in and then you get paid. Like you cast the net and then like it comes back to you. Everything is back pay when you enter into this business atmosphere, right? But I'm saying embrace that because that's a whole lot better than, oh, I hustle every day or I work a 9 to 5 and I get paid. And you got to be willing to quit. That's the rat race, that immediate gratification and just living for the weekend. And I make it to the weekend and then I'm good again. And then I'm miserable on Monday again. And then I'm starting this all over again. And then I'm working for hours. And then I put in 10 years and all 10 years I keep getting paid at the end of every 2 weeks. Paid in every 2 weeks. I'm cool with that. I stick with that. And then after 10 years, they give me a 25-cent raise. That's not okay, dude. That's not okay because you know you're worth more than that. You know the skill set that you've learned applying yourself to that one job and one career for 10 years is worth more than an extra 25 cents an hour. And so you got to think, like we say, the biggest risk is not taking a chance. Yes, it's delayed gratification, but I'm talking to somebody who you got to really reason with yourself and say, dang, dude, what you mean I ain't going to get paid right away? I got to start putting in the work now and I ain't going to get it. Yeah, dude, you give your money to McDonald's at the first window and you get it, you get your food at the second. But this is like a larger, grander scheme of that. It's just like imagine pouring into something. It's like your kids. You change their diapers, you feed them, you pay all their bills and all their expenses. You essentially take another human on and pay and give time, money, love, effort, and so much more to that person. You don't get a return on them right away. You know what I'm saying? You get a return on them when they go out into the world and they become great humans and members of society out of all the time, energy, money, love, and care that you invested into them. My point, and I made this point last night, all things that are worth having, they for one, they start with a great foundation. And for two, it's all about the delayed gratification. Everything that's trash, you can get it easy. Easy, easy, easy. Everything that come easy, easy come, easy go. And if it was hard to get to it and it took you a long time of dedication and trying, then it was hard for you to get it. It'll be hard for somebody or anything uh, to come take it away from you. Uh, It'd be hard for anything to come take it away from you. I'm sorry about that. So don't forget about that. But when it comes to talking to people, talking to sellers, talking to anybody in general, a couple of things that I want y'all to keep in mind, a couple of things that I want y'all to have on the top is one, you're not gonna be good. Um, go into You're not gonna be good from the beginning. You're not. And so if you're like, man, I'm not good at talking to people, then you need to go talk to people. I'm not good at, that's like, I'm not in shape. So I ain't gonna go to the gym. No, that's exactly why you need to go to the gym. You need to be in the gym more than anybody else should be. So it's about putting up those reps. Every time you spend an hour in the dialer, that's another rep. 2 hours in the dialer, that's another rep. Another rep. You cranking it out. And like I know, putting up reps, or most people should it should tell you like putting up reps in the gym, lifting heavy weights. That's not easy. That's pressure. And honestly, if you're not struggling with the weight, then there's no point in you even actually lifting it. The whole point of going to the gym is to struggle with the weight. That's the point of it. You know what I mean? And so if you think, oh, I'm not good at talking to people, I need to get better at talking to people, well, dude, it's like, yeah, you do. You're trash. And if you think I'm good, if you heard me call or heard me on the phones or talking to a seller or doing a role play, and you think, man, Cordero's good at talking to people, I was trash. I need a trash bin around here. So that way y'all can just hear and really understand what I mean when I say I was trash. I was trash at talking to people. It wasn't the fact that I was trash at talking to people in the context of sales and talking to people. And I was trash at talking in general, right? I got a book. It was called The Art of Communication, right? Because and I want to break this down. It's a good book. I would recommend checking it out. It's by actually a Buddhist monk of all people. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh. And The Art of Communication, with that book, it explains or details is essentially um, how to talk to people. I got the book thinking, okay, it's gonna help me with sales. It's gonna help me with my dialogue, talking, communicating back and forth. That's what I thought it was because it's communication. And it really explained to me, no, essentially communication is more than what you think it is. Communication is not just the dialogue between yourself and the other person you're talking to, between yourself and the seller, between yourself and the buyer, between yourself and your spouse, between yourself and your mom, between yourself and your kids. That's one element of communication, but it's more than that. I was like, okay. What the book opens up, it talks about communicating with yourself, between yourself and yourself. And I think in this society, we do not do that whatsoever. The last person you talk to is yourself. As a matter of fact, we spend most of our time running away from ourselves. You never just sit in a quiet room. You always got to have music playing or some sort of audio playing in the background. The last thing you're going to do is just sit there in all silence and deal with your own thoughts. But the book opened this up to me. It opened this idea up to me and how you got to get comfortable and confident in doing this. And the better you get at communicating with yourself, the better you'll be at communicating with others. Because then how are you going to understand yourself, how people perceive you, how you going to communicate and tell somebody what's wrong with you if you don't understand what's wrong with you? Like, you don't know if you're frustrated or angry. You don't know if you're mad or sad. And a lot of times, some of those emotions could be very similar. And you're just like, man, I'm mad. It's like, no, you're not mad. You're actually frustrated. And that's different. That takes a different solution. Just like, being sick is being sick. But if you got COVID or you got the flu, those are two different things. And they take two different vaccines. They're very similar. I mean, we know that. We know that they're very similar. But if you don't actually take the time to diagnose it, then you could be treating the wrong sickness, and it's going to take you longer to get healed, right? It's going to take you longer to get healed if you don't identify it. And so much like your emotions, your inner thoughts, your how you perceive yourself, your own sense of self-identity, all of those things are tied up into you. And then if you actually communicate with that and how you can use that, once you improve on communicating that with yourself, like, man, who am I? What am I as a person? How do you do your role play scenarios? And then communicating with yourself allows you to then communicate with other people. And then also the book also talks about communicating with your environment around you, right? I went this deep. Like, you talking about being trash, and I'm not good at talking to people. I was so willing to get good at it because I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew I was trash. I didn't just sit around saying, man, I suck. Man, I suck. The obstacle was the way for me at that moment. Like, I'm talking about, dude, I was terrible at talking to people. No more than you would probably want to sit in a room and talk to, I don't know. I don't know. Just I don't know. Just any person that you really probably, I wasn't the guy who you would want to listen to or talk with or have a conversation with. I wasn't that guy. And so if you're telling yourself you're not good, you got to get like, okay, the obstacle becomes the way. And so I was so committed that I got the book and I broke it down on how to talk with myself, how to talk with others, and then how to communicate with my environment. And then it gave me a more visceral understanding of talking with people, a more real understanding of communicating with others. And I heard this earlier today, the person who could put themselves in the seller's shoes is going to do a better job, going to do the best job or have the best luck when it comes to getting that seller to sign on a dotted line. Because you got to understand that seller from their perspective and talk to them from their perspective. I call it getting on their side of the table. You got to be able to get on their side of the table. But if you can't understand, dog, what I just explained about the art of communication and talking to people, if you can't understand that, then you will not understand how to talk to other people if you can't talk to yourself. That like that to me, that's the foundation of being able to communicate. Actually, that's how the book works. It laid the foundation on communication. I thought he was gonna go right to just talking to people. No, talk to yourself. How you talk to yourself, and then you learn how you talk to others is usually a reflection on how you talk with yourself. So if somebody make a mistake, you're like, "Oh my God, you're so dumb. Why did you do that?" Like you realize you actually talk to yourself like that. And when you make a mistake, you telling yourself, "Oh, I'm an idiot. Why did I do that? I was so dumb." And like you got to get out of that. That's why when somebody says, "Man, I'm not really good at talking to people. I'm not good at that. I can't do that." My first thing is don't, first of all, stop saying I can't, I'm not, I'm not able to, I can't, yada, yada, yada. Let that go and be true. You want to be true to yourself, but then being true to yourself probably isn't just saying I can't or I'm not or I won't or I don't. Being true to yourself might look like or might sound something like, "Man, I want to get better at talking to people." That'll be what you say more often than saying, "Man, I just can't talk to people." Or you say, "I need to get better. I'm working on talking to people. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get better. I intend to become a better communicator. Therefore, I intend to be able to get better at sales. And I intend to just be able," because again, it's not just about talking to sellers and communicating with sellers. It's about how you talk to people, period, dude. You're going to talk to a lot more people than just sellers, right? And so when people's like, "Here's how you talk to sellers," and they're like, "Here goes the script. I can give you the script. You want the script? DM me on Instagram, Cordero Martin 615. You can DM me on Instagram. I can give you the script, but it's like you're not gonna understand that though. You're not gonna understand that. You're not gonna understand that until you really understand it's about talking to people, and it's about talking to people like they real people. You know what I mean? Talking to the people like you would yourself. Um, and so being able to do that is major. Okay. And so how we do those are just a couple points I wanted to address, but I mean, how exactly what we say and how we structure our cold call role play, I think is the question you guys do. How do we structure how do you do your role play scenarios? How do we do our role play scenarios? We just role play. I mean, we have a script. Again, it's role play for cold call, role play for a lead manager follow up. We role play for acquisitions, what I call the discovery call, and then we role play for the acquisition. I call it the contract call. So the first call, you reach out to get some information and set the expectation. This is what a seller who's made it all the way through your funnel to the point where it's time to get them under contract. This is the big boy conversation. This isn't just cold calling that we're talking about. We're talking about the big boy conversation, right? And so, what I think it should be a two-part, because first you're trying to, as a matter of fact, it can be two, it can be 7 calls, it can be 10 calls, because you got to go back and forth and you're actually on that person's time. And I take my time with these things. Like I take my time if they, we're going to work it out, but it's a structure all the way through. I believe in, I don't know if y'all know who the Wolf of Wall Street is, but he has something called the straight line strategy. And honestly, I don't know if I make sense to y'all with the stuff that I be saying, but I remember before I understood what that meant. When he was explaining it, I was like, "Dude, what are you talking about? You're not making any sense." But what he means by the straight line strategy, for anybody who wants to know what that is or is confused, is he has a certain it's almost like a funnel in his conversation. Like you have a sales funnel, a general sales funnel, but when you have that sales call, it's almost like there's a funnel in that call, in the sense that every person they're gonna go through the same structure. And just about every single one of your sales calls should sound extremely identical. They should sound so much alike because you have a structure, a way of doing it. It's like an assembly line. Some people, when they do sales, they kind of like they're good at sales just because they're naturally got the gift of gab, and they talk to people in a certain way that they can kind of like, I don't know, they're just good at talking to people. But I think with that straight line process is no matter who it is, you're going to put them through that structure. And it's like an assembly line. We're going to do this first, and we're going to do that first, and then we're going to go through this with some slight deviation because not every person is the same and not every person's situation is the same. And so you're going to deal with those, but you leave margin for that deviation, and then you're going to go through the structure, continue all the way until you get them under contract, right? That's what the straight line sales process is. Some people have I just good at talking to people and I make my way through. Some people go by a script. The straight line sales process is not necessarily a script. It's like points. Like we make sure we hit this point first. Then we make sure we hit that point, and we make sure we hit that point. All right. And just to give you a sneak peek into what those points look like, it should start off something or another. Matter of fact, dude, if you want to know, you can call in and we could do a role play. If that's what you're asking. Chris Bird, you know what I mean? If you would like, we could you can call in. Um, let's see what this is. How to role play scenario with you so I can test out my skills. Yes, sir, you can, man. Absolutely, you can. Matter of fact, let me give you, and it should. Man, we got somebody, man. Let's see. So Chris, essentially, obviously, I'll you'll be the buyer, and I'm gonna be the seller. So you call my phone as if it's a cold call. No, I'm just gonna give you the number, please, because I can't put it up there. But it's 615-461-4715. And again, that's 615-461-4715. You will come through my smartphone and you will be ringing on my computer. Everybody should be able to hear. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to be the seller. Another thing we do when we role play, don't communicate. I wouldn't say I'm not going to communicate like, hey, I'm going to be the seller. This is going to be my motivation. And this is what I'm going to. No, you don't do that because you wouldn't get that on a real call. So I'm just going to like, let's see who this is. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, sorry, who am I speaking with?
This is Chris. I'm trying to call into a line.
Yeah. No, this is me, man. We can go ahead and start. I'll be the seller.
Okay, all right. So, all right. Before we start,
Okay.
I like to structure my cold calls with like a direct offer, in a sense of like we kind of like run the comps in the area, and we use like this 10% rule plus or minus of all the properties in the area.
Okay.
And then we'll base it off of like what a large rehab to a light rehab is, and then from that point, we'll just say this is the offer from this point to that point. But after that, we'll then proceed to like set the appointment. Does that work?
I mean, do your thing, man. I'm trying to see how you do it. So again, like this is cold. I mean, it is we're doing a role play, but this is cold. So just go through it how you normally would, as if I was the seller, and just call me out of the blue,
Gotcha.
and I'll give you what I feel like are some natural um, responses that I'll hear, and I'll have an actual motivation. But for sure, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, what's your name? Because I don't even know your name.
Cordero.
All right, ready? Ring.
Hello.
Hey, I'm trying to get Cordell.
Yeah. Hey, man. I'm sorry. Who is this?
This is Chris. I hope you're doing well today. So the reason I'm calling is because we're doing some properties in the area, and we were interested in 123 Main Street, and we wanted to know if you'd be interested in hearing out an offer. You got 5 minutes to hear out an offer.
Yeah. I mean, what's the offer?
So mainly we have a couple different offers. We got one that's called a creative finance offer. We got another offer that's called a cash offer. They both work different. It all depends on everybody's situation. But we would like to offer you, I'm just going to do a theoretical number. So we'll offer you, it'll be from $200,000 to $300,000. Is that something that you might be interested in?
Sure.
Okay, great. So another question I have is, not everybody's like ready to sell right now, right? But would you be ready to sell within this year?
Yeah, sure.
Um, if you had to guess, what date would you put on it? How many months or a month or where you at?
Well, it depends on where you're at with that offer. Are you at 200,000 or 300,000?
So it's all based off of condition of the property. And so what I want to do is get a good feel for where the property is and all of that. So before that, if I give you the right number, would you be willing to move forward this month?
I'll sell tomorrow if you give me the right price.
All right, that works. That works. All right, so tell me about this property. You know, I only got pictures from the outside. I can't really see the inside. You know, how's the kitchen, the bath, how's all that?
It's great. Everything's great.
When was like the last time it was renovated? Do you know?
We did some renovations about 4 years ago. We redid the kitchen, and it's got a new HVAC unit on it from this year, actually.
Okay. Can you tell me about, so obviously that means the plumbing, the electrical, that's all good. Got running water, lights on, all that's good, right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Gotcha.
I mean, and based on a house like that, what would you be offering?
I actually be able to offer you a little bit more. I mean, we have to confirm with maybe the bathrooms and obviously see it with our own eyes.
Okay.
So we'll actually probably end up setting up an appointment. Would that work for you to come look at?
What are you guys offering? It just kind of depends on where are you at? Like, what number would you offer? Are you saying 300?
So it's gonna really depend on the condition. So if we can get in there, get a good look at the condition, maybe if you send me some pictures, either one works. As long as I can get a good look, I'll be able to give you a somewhat number, and then from that point, we can come to an agreement on a number and move forward.
Okay, so you can't give me an offer today?
I can give you an offer today. I just need more information.
Okay, what information do you need?
But say it again.
What information do you need?
I need information of the actual condition of property. If you're gonna go buy a used car, right? You wouldn't just, see the picture of the outside of the car. You want to see how the car drives, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, ask me questions. I'm available. What information do you need about the property? Let me know.
I'm saying you would want to see how the car drives. You would want to go drive the car before you buy it, right?
So you need to come see the property before you can give me an offer?
I need to know the condition of the property, whether that's through confirming it with pictures or actually coming to see it.
Okay.
It works best if we come to see it because, that's a fast and easy process.
So how did you get the 200 to 300 range then?
Say it again.
You said like you had a range like a 200 to 300. How did you get that range? Like how did you come up? Where would you fall if, like I said, it's got the kitchen's been remodeled just 4 years ago, and it's pretty good. Granite countertops, nice backsplash. We just put a new HVAC on it. The home is in very good condition. I say structurally it's sound, no foundation issues. The roof probably like 10 years old, and that's a 30-year roof. So I mean, it'll be a while before you have to replace that. And everything else on the house looks good, man. I mean, it's a relatively new house. The house is only, I would say it probably doesn't. I would say the only thing it probably does need is, obviously any house that's lived in, it needs floors and paint, and that's about it. I mean, what would you, for a house like that in this area? What are you the buyer?
Yeah, I would be the buyer.
Okay.
And
So you're gonna
this
buy the
is another
house. So what would you be buying the house for, like in this area, with this in that condition?
well, based off of what you said so far, it would be in that higher rate, so it'd be close to that 300 mark.
How close? I mean, where we
But
are,
I do
like
have another question.
290.
Is this property vacant or is there currently somebody in there?
Yeah, I live in it. It's my house.
You live in it. Okay, okay, okay. I have another question. You know, if I can give you a number, right, hypothetically,
Yeah.
would you have a new spot in mind that you would want to go to?
Man, I can figure out a place, man. I can figure out a place. If you get me the right price, that's not a problem.
Okay. So this is what we'll do. If all the information you're saying is true and we can confirm that, and I get you a price around the 260, 280 mark, would that be something you consider?
No, no, I can't do that. But if you could do, can you do 300?
If we do 300,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
okay, all right. If we do 300, I just got a question though.
Okay.
You know, why are you hard on 300? You know, why the extra 20 grand?
I mean, that's just the number you said, 200 to 300. I want 300. If you say you at 200 to 300, I want the 300. I want more money.
Well, the only reason I was saying around 260, 280 is because the property, you know, you said it needs some paint, a couple little things to work on. You know,
Paint
you're
and
gonna turn that
floors.
in for me, right?
What's that?
I said, well, the only reason we would do 260 to 280, you know, you said there's a little bit of work of like paint, things like that. So if we got to work that in, you know, I got to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, man, it's paint and floors. And that, do you know how big the house is? Do you know how many
no,
bedrooms and
give me
bathrooms the
an
house is?
exact number.
So you don't, so you
Yeah,
don't,
I have a number, but I want to confirm.
so do you know anything about the property? You're just calling people up and just calling people up at random?
No, we looked in the area. We've seen that we're interested in the property. We have some information. I'm just trying to confirm the information.
Well, what has you
That's on
interested
your
in my
property.
property? Why my
Sorry,
property? Why my property in particular?
your property in particular was because we got a lead that. Hang on, give me just a second.
Okay.
We got a lead that the property had been in an area that's been going up in value, and so we wanted to give you an offer today that you know you might not be able to pass on. So that's how we really got interested into the property.
Okay, what's the offer?
The offer right now is 260, 280. I mean, why? I said that 300 to 200 range because it's based off condition. My based off the information you told me today,
Yeah.
I'm feeling 260, 280 range.
You're feeling 260, 280, but all it needs is paint and floors. Like, it's got a brand new HVAC. The roof is, 10 years old. It doesn't need a new roof. Foundation is good. Everything is solid. It's a brick home. And the kitchen has been remodeled. Nothing else needs to be updated. It's just roof. So, I say 300.
Well,
Can you do 300?
the number that I have for doing paint and flooring is going to cost me in that range is 20 to 40 grand.
20 to 40 grand. Do you know how many the square footage my house is? How are you getting 20 to 40 grand?
The square footage that I have based off the information that I have pulled up, we got this property around 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, okay. So 1,200 square feet. How are you calculating 20 to 40 grand for 1,200 square feet? How much do you pay per square foot to get the home painted per square foot?
We pay normally for light work. We pay about $12 a square foot. And based on what you told me, it sounds like
$12.
A little bit touch up. So we pay about $12 per square foot.
$12 per square foot. Who's painting it? Are you painting it in gold, titanium?
We be doing
Gotcha. No. Okay, so I mean, what do you need, man? I want 300. What else do you need?
I honestly, I don't need anything else. That's all I need. Honestly, you told me, hey, if I could give you a price for the right price, we could do the deal.
Yep. The right price is 300.
My best offer today.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if you're not ready to sell at this moment, we like to buy properties that are people that want and need to sell.
No, I'm ready to sell. Like I said, I'll sell for 300.
Huh?
I'm ready to sell, man. I'll sell tomorrow. You do 300, I'll sell tomorrow.
Why are you so adamant on that 20 grand? I'm just being honest, because
that's what I want. I mean, you called me. I didn't call you.
I gotta be down 20 grand. I'm being transparent with you.
Why do you need to be down 20 grand? Paint and floors does not cost 20 grand on a 1,200 square foot house.
So when was the last time you did paint and floors?
When was the last time I did paint and floors?
And what type of flooring were you doing?
Hardwood floors. I work in construction, man. This is the home. You calling about the home I live in. I actually own other investment properties. I work in construction.
Well,
so this is what I do often. It's just like, and I know what market price is, and I know what I could get it for. I know I could get it for way cheaper, but I know what market price is. It's not $12 per square foot.
Right. And the reason you can get it cheaper is because you do the work.
But no, that's what I'm saying. I know what my price is.
I have to outsource the work.
But that's why I said I know what my price is, and I.
Hold on, let me talk. When you do work for other people, right? You don't charge them the price that it would cost you to just do it, or else you wouldn't make money, right? I gotta pay my guy.
But that's what I said. I know what my price is, and I know what market price is. What market price is means I know what I charge people to do it, like what you would pay a regular person to do it. That's why I said that, because I understand it's not. Listen, dog. At most $7 per square foot. And even at that, $7 per square foot at 1,200 square feet is not 20 to 40 grand. That's for paint, and then we're talking the floors. It's not 20 to 40 grand. So I mean, you called me. I want 300.
If we can come, you said about $8 grand. I think it's a little bit higher. I'll pay my guy a little bit higher. If we can do 285, we'll be able to make this deal work.
Can we do 300?
I'm hard on 285. You told me.
Okay, man.
You told me right now that just with the paint and the flooring, you told me right now that it would be $8 grand.
Yeah, but I also told you if we could do.
You have to at least drop $8 grand. That's all that. Am I wrong there?
You don't. I don't have to drop $8 grand. You asked me. You said you wanted to give me an offer. You called me and said you'll give me an offer, and then you asked me if we could get the right price today. Okay. Well, like I said, you want. I didn't call you. You called me. If I'm gonna sell my house, it's gonna be for 300. So if you wanna buy it, do 300. If you don't got 300, man, you can call me back when you got it.
Okay, I'll call you back when I got
Okay, dude.
That was a good
Okay,
one, man. That was a good
okay,
one.
okay,
Who was that?
Chris. That's
That
Chris,
was
man.
Chris.
it. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
dude.
shout out to Chris, man. Shout out to
Dude, shout
Chris.
out to you, bro. Because and I want to be clear, and I want to be absolutely clear. I wasn't intentionally trying to like be difficult. I actually was trying to be more lenient. Those are everything that I said. Those were real responses that I get. And so I saw how you was throwing in there what you're doing. You're handling the objections, right? I saw you handling objections. Well, you said this. Well, I said that, and you're rolling with the punches as the person comes through. So shout out to you, dude. Like going in and sticking with it, even well beyond because especially on a cold call, but just in general, when you're trying to communicate with the seller and they're being unreasonable, they're what we call a green seller, where they're like super analytical. They might be an investor themselves, or they may even be a red seller, which is an aggressive seller, right? And you're dealing with them, and it's hard not to get frustrated. So, shout out to you for hanging in there, because
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
that'd
So,
be my
what do you think you should have done? Like a couple of things, maybe a couple of pointers to make like what would have made the call better.
Can Hey Chris, are you still watching the live, by the way?
Yeah, I'm still watching the live, but I can't. I muted it because I
Okay.
couldn't.
No worries. No
I
worries.
didn't
So
want to like have it all mixed up in my ear.
yeah, exactly. No, Byron just asked, what are some things that probably could have done better that you think, that I think you probably could have done better. So, and
Okay, hold on.
okay,
So one thing was, so when I do my ranges, right?
yeah,
That range is based off of like how I said. So like let's say the ARV is like 350, right? And so normally we go based off of like an average price per square foot in the area, and then times that by the square foot. So I already knew like theoretically what the square foot of the property would be, right? And then on top of that, right? So really, if I gave you 300, I could do 300. Now, in the scenario, I wanted to test my skills, and I didn't want it to make it seem like I just like took 300. You get what I'm saying?
but
So,
this is a
like, in
fictional
reality, I
property.
would be able to give you 300 because that would be like my light rehab number. My heavy rehab number would be that lower 200, like I talked about, right? Or lower. It'd probably be way lower than that because ain't no way you're doing a heavy rehab personally. Well, I mean, if it's like 1,200 square foot, yeah, maybe you could get away with 400 grand, right? But like, I would be able to take you on that 300 grand spot just because I've already built in the whole spread from the
But this is what
get-go.
I'm saying though, man. This overall structure of the call. See,
Yeah.
here's the thing. When you start off with price, I'll get down to brass tacks. When you start off with price, you notice what I was doing that entire call. I do it, I deal with it all the time. If you start off with price, then you're gonna bait in a lot of dudes. You're trying to hook them in with, are you interested in a cash offer? And that sounds good, but then you're gonna get that one guy who just keeps saying, yeah, what's the right price? For the right price, can you move forward? When would you be wanting to move forward, sir?
Honestly,
But listen, this is what I'm saying. That was the setup to your call. That's how you open up your call, talking about numbers and trying to bait them in with a price. When you do that and you throw out a range before you ask them about condition, before you ask them even if they want to sell, without you didn't even ask me. That's why you got to the end of the call and you had to say, well, sir, we actually only want to talk to people who are actually interested and ready to sell. It's like you just wasted so much of your time, Chris, and so much of your sales effort and acquisitions energy talking to somebody who you didn't qualify if they were interested in selling at all or not.
Yeah.
So that's why we start off with the top at the top of our call. It's not, hey, are you interested in an as-is cash offer? Yeah, that sounds good, and you might get more people to talk to, especially if you're cold calling, more people to actually listen to you. But you can waste a lot of time. What we say is the first thing you need to start off with saying is, hey, I don't know if I'm in the right place. I was calling to speak to Steve about the property on Main Street. I just want to know if you were thinking of selling at this time. Like you said, we only want to talk to people who are ready to sell. So the first question I ask you before we talk about price, before we talk about condition, and when you want to, do
Before
you
you give
even
me
want to sell?
before you give me your life story.
Yeah, yeah. Before I get your life story.
Here's the thing. So how I looked at it, like I looked at it at the end of the day, if I'm doing wholesale, right? We make money by making more offers. The more offers you make, the more money you're gonna make, right? So I just like to beat to the punch. Like I want you to know why
Listen.
I'm here, why I'm on the phone.
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
Right?
You got to make a real offer though. And before you make it, and it's not even just about making offers, it's about making offers to people who want to sell. It's a funnel. That's why it's called a marketing funnel. Out of your cold calling, you're trying to figure out who's interested in selling. And then you make offer to those people who are interested. If you're making offers to people who don't want to sell their property, it doesn't matter what offer, you're wasting your time, right? You're wasting your time. And on top of that, it's not just about making offers. It's about getting people at discounted prices that you can make a deal.
Yeah.
And the less likelihood that you're going to do that is if you're playing a numbers game. When you're negotiating, if you negotiate based upon numbers and instead of value, you're losing. Do you watch Alex Hormozy or tune into his channel?
Yeah. Alex
Hormozy talks really good about if you start to make your offer and your entire sales pitch is based upon numbers, and then your client or your customer or your seller is trying to compare you versus price, then you're going to lose every time because obviously you got to get at a dirt cheap price just to stay in business. And you're competing on price. And that's what you just did. And it didn't work because you were just trying to say, well, I need that. I want 285. Why do you want 300? Because I said I want it. You make offers, yes,
okay,
but you.
Hold on. So like, okay, like for instance, like one with the cold call scenario, right?
Okay.
So when I say, hey, do you want to hear our offer? Some people would just be like, no, I'm not interested. Like they will literally say that. And what I like to do is I like to advance like the sale. In a sense, like people want to know, like at an instant, that you know where you coming and like how are you coming, right? And then from that, I build upon like getting information. You get what I'm saying? Because nobody's gonna be like, as I'll put it in perspective, like nobody is ever like really like hard rejection. And like honestly, like I would have been hung up the phone. I'm just being real, just because like it's a volume game. You know, we both know it's a volume game. So I'm not gonna go back and forth. Now I did it just to like test my skills and see like, hey, can I get you, right? But after that, like it's like yeah, you can deal with a hard seller and things like that. But if you already know like we're in this business to get a deep discount, all that, like you're gonna be throwing yourself through a hassle trying to like play these games with that hard seller. You know what I'm saying? So like normally at times like it'll just go on and move. And like a lot of times how I notice it is like if you just ask people that like do they want to sell, right? Like people hear that all the time, especially if you're calling any list. Like
no, they don't. They hear more often than anything. They hear, hey, I got a cash as is offer. As a matter of fact, Chris, let me ask you something. How many deals have you done?
I haven't done any deals yet.
Okay, let me ask you this. We're gonna reverse roles. I'm gonna try my cold call script on you, and you be the seller, and just give me again. Do you cold call?
Yeah.
Okay, give me some natural, based upon what I'm saying to you, give me some natural responses that you hear when you're cold calling or that you think somebody would say to this. And again, you don't necessarily have to be a difficult seller. If you want to, I'll just respond how I would naturally respond. But I'm just going to go through my script. You be the seller, and let's see how that works and how I handle rebuttals and things like that. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Ring. Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know if I had the right number. I was calling to speak to Chris.
Yeah, this is Chris.
Oh, hey, Chris. This is Cordero. Man, I was just want to give you a quick call, actually, in regards to a property. I'm not sure if I'm even in the right place. A property on Main Street in Kennesaw.
Yeah, that's my property.
Oh,
You're fine.
yeah. No, you probably get calls like this all the time, Chris. What it is, I work with a group of investors who are purchasing property in that area, and just want to know if you were considering selling at this time by chance.
Yeah, I'm considering, but you gotta give me the right price.
Okay, what's the right price?
Tell me your price.
Well,
$1 million.
gotcha. No, I absolutely understand, Chris. And like I said, I work with the network of investors who are purchasing in that area. If you're interested, for starters, let me grab a couple questions from you so I can understand your property and the situation. And what I do is I get this over to our underwriters. They'll be able to give me an offer and then I can get back to you. Does that sound okay?
Say that one more time. Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, no
I missed
worries.
one part.
What I was saying is I do work with the network of investors who are purchasing in that area. What I would do, if you are interested, I can ask you a couple questions about the property so I can get the information over to our underwriters. They'll be able to give me an offer and then I can get back to you in the next business, 1 to 2 business days. But I just want to ask you a couple questions. Is now a good time?
Well, what do you need to know?
Yeah, just a little bit of info.
But before we get anywhere, what number are you thinking? Because I don't want to waste my time. I ain't got a lot of time.
No, absolutely. And again, Chris, that's why I say I'm just the one here just kind of reach out to see if you're interested in selling. Again, my underwriters are the one who are able to come up with a number. I won't be able to give you a number today. I just got to get the information. If you're not interested, I completely understand. I don't want to waste your time either. But if you are, you said you were interested in selling at this time. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm interested, but I want to hear what you got.
Okay, absolutely. And like I said, this is kind of, again, because we're not just one investor with one particular criteria or strategy, we actually work with a network of different investors. And so I get the information from people who may be interested in a particular area that we like. I get it over to our underwriters and we ask them a couple questions about the property. And the underwriters, they're the ones who are able to, they do all of the comps and look at the area, the neighborhood and things like that. And so, I mean, is that something you'd be interested in? Because I absolutely understand. If you're not really interested in doing that, then I completely understand. I don't want to waste your time either. Would you like to, can I ask you a couple questions?
I'm not interested.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much, Chris, man. And you have a great rest of your day. Boom. You see what I did? Before I start talking about the condition, before we start going into price, I already had the intro.
Let's handle what's first.
Let's handle first thing first. Are you actually interested? And what you'll notice is how I have the intro set up. It's designed to disqualify people. They disqualify themselves. If I say, I got to ask you a couple questions and get this over to our underwriters, and then we'll be able to get back to you. And if they're like, man, I ain't got time for all that, then you're just not interested. If I'm a motivated seller and I'm 2 weeks away from being foreclosed on and my house is going to go to auction and you say you got to ask a couple questions, I'm like, okay, what questions do you need to know? That's how that's going to go. And so it's not that I'm not disqualifying them. It's that you're doing it in a subtle way. And you're also, you notice how you was just like, well, first things first, tell me your price. Well, like I already told you, Mr. Seller, I'm not the one. I got to get this over to our investors. I noticed on our call when you were the buyer, you said that you were the buyer. And so now every time I ask you a question as the seller, you need to know the answer because you're the one buying it. And if you don't, I'm going to be like, And also, too, you're the buyer, so you're the one who's going to make the price up. But what I said is, like I said, I work for a network of investors who are purchasing property in your area. You see, it may seem subtle. It may seem like, oh, he's just talking. But no, what I said was, I am not the one who comes up with the price. So before you even start trying to pressure me for a number, somebody else is going to handle that. And two, if they ask, well, why are you interested in my property? Like I said, we're calling because of the area that your property's in.
And because our
It's
investors are buying in that area.
because
You
our
know what I'm saying?
investors are buying in that area. That's the ideal area that they like. And so I know it may not seem like it in that intro, but what I did so many things in that intro. Is down to a science. For one, I'm getting first things first. Are you actually well, first things first is, am I talking to Chris? Am I talking to Chris? And is the property on Main Street in Kennesaw? Is that your property? Okay, yeah. And you probably get calls like this all the time, Chris, but I work with a group of investors who are purchasing property in that area and just want to know if you were thinking of selling at this time. Yes or no. If you're not and you don't got time, then you wouldn't say yes. You would say no. Some people will give the answer that you gave.
This is another thing like that. It's like, and this is, I'm just like, no, I'm not disagreeing because I spot on like everything that you said, right?
Yeah.
So what I noticed is like when you like kind of do that, like you just get hung up on like right away, like
then they're not interested.
Or
Dude,
you want to sell, not interested. Da, da, da.
see
and, like,
this,
and like they kind of like think of you as like they just don't really like take you serious.
that's not true at all. First of all, listen, if you're talking about taking people serious, if you're getting on the phone, trying to coax, see what you're trying to, and this is why I knew that's what you were doing. When you say, hey, are you interested in a cash offer? You're trying to get your foot in the door, but you're trying to slam yourself in the door. And then when you get in you're like a dog chasing a car. When you catch it, you don't know what to do with it. When you start off talking about price, the way I do it, I'm setting it up and I'm coming off here. Notice the little things that I did too. When I first got on, I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm in the, I don't know if I'm in the right place. I was calling to speak to Chris. That's actually how I get my foot in the door. It's not by slamming a cash offer down their throat. It's, I don't know if I'm in the right place. It's coming off unassuming. And so actually when they hear that, they're like, hey, who is this person?
Yeah.
They're confused and I'm confused too. So I'm mirroring their tonality. I'm actually building rapport right there. These are other things. I'm not just, if you lead with the cash offer, that's like leading with your head. Once you hit something, you hit, but you hit it with your head of all things. You know what I mean? And so you find yourself in a position, it's like, dude, it's like, yeah, you can probably get more people to entertain your call for a couple of seconds, but now you're in there trying to like fight them on a price. When you come in and the first thing you do, notice I qualified them before I even wasted time talking about condition, motivation, urgency, what your situation is, all of that before I even get to the price. Price should be the last thing you talk about.
Yeah.
And especially on a cold call, you should be getting the price out of them, not offering them a price. Set it up. Say, hey, I work with don't say you're the buyer.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Chris. Are you going to buy a property? Are you actually, can you buy a $300,000 property?
Cash as is.
Cash as is. And it's, that's not even a knock to you. I got, that's like, just understand, because we talk to a lot of people. Some people are in different situations. If you can, then you can. If you're more like wholesaling the deal, then that's fine too, because we're obviously wholesalers, right? But when you lead with that and you say, I'm the buyer, it's not true. But also then what I think is just as bad as that is now you put it on yourself to be responsible to have to figure out all the questions. And if I throw out a question to you that I feel like the buyer of a property would know, it's like, you know how you gave that example, like, well, if you wanted to buy a car, then you would want to test drive it, right? I could easily say, well, if you was buying a car, well, if you was going to buy my house, then you would easily know that, it's a square foot. And you would easily know, based upon what I told you, you would know about what you could offer. Because you're the buyer, you buy properties, and you got $300,000 cash to spend, or $280,000. You know something. You should know. You should be able to offer. What would you pay for a house like this in this area, right? That's what it boils down to. And so what I'm saying is two things. Don't lead with the price, even though you feel like it's going to get your foot in the door more often. It's not. Yeah, you might think it stops them from hanging up on you in the beginning, but then you just end up. And then two, don't say you're the buyer if you're not. Use that strategy, dude. Hey, I work with the network of investors who are purchasing property in your area.
We're like
If
gold.
it worked like, dude, it worked like magic.
I sit here and watch it work every day, like
Dude,
literally.
it works like magic, my guy. And matter of fact, I'm gonna send you a copy. I'm gonna put a copy of the script. It's a Google Docs, so that way you can get access to my cold call script. You don't have to use it, but at least you can look at it and kind of see the structure that I got going on. And as a matter of fact, we got a couple calls where we break it down. But I'm telling you, dude, it really works. I'm not just saying it because
Exactly.
like I've done, dude, I've done this for
Check
years.
out my IG. Check out my IG.
Check out my IG, man.
Check out my IG, man.
Byron's, you know what I'm saying?
So I gotta do is check out my IG. Everything that I close is that. It's like,
yeah, I mean, everything that I close now is that. That's
I've been
deals that
pitching
I
that
actually
for years.
close on. Matter of fact, I can, if you got my direct number right here, dude, we can go over some stuff and I can actually show you some cold calls, like where that's the exact script I use, how it gets my foot in the door. But also you don't want to get your foot in the door and then be lost. Now it's you ever heard somebody is like, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. That's what it's like when you actually get one of them sellers on the phone and then you start leading with the price and you thinking, oh, they in here with me. Now that seller looking at you like, you thought you had me. I'm about to eat you up, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I've been there. Dude, I wish somebody would have told me this sooner. I've been there for years in the beginning, before I got my first deal. And then even after I got my first deal, it was just constantly hitting my head over and over again. But don't lead with price. Just try that. I'm going to send you a copy of the script. Lead with, first things first, are you interested in selling or not? I just want to know if you're thinking of selling.
Be unassuming. Don't even assume that you've reached the right person. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the first things first. It's like, don't assume that you reached the right person because maybe you didn't. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm telling you, the not being the buyer is huge because now you don't have to negotiate a price like right then and there, right? Another thing is, it's like when that person know that you're just calling like you're just being a worker, like you can see that you just being a worker.
Over to our underwriters, would you be interested in answering a couple questions? And then they're like, I don't got time for that. And I understand. They disqualified themselves right there.
Yeah.
Right. And so before you start, but if you start like, hey, here's the price and this and that, all they're gonna do is press you on the price.
Well, another thing is that just imagine on that deal in Clarksville with old buddy that we just picked up and gave him a price.
Okay, I just had that work for me like really well. Like the only reason that we didn't close the deal is because like I'm young, so I'm like 22. So,
dude, I started when I was 21. I did my first deal when I was 21. So it's like, dude, and also too, it's not even about it's not about being young.
Wait, I've never known the age of anybody that was on the phone with me.
It's not about being young, dude. It's not about any of those things. Yeah. If you do the right things, shoot, if I was doing the things, if I knew what I know now and I was doing them at 21, I would have closed way more deals. And so if you want to keep doing that, by all means, you can. But I'm just letting you know, dude, it's just like you could easily bump your head. You could easily continue to go down that road where it's just like, I'm leading with price to get my foot in the door. And then you got to switch your mind instead from, I'm just trying to get people to stay on the phone while I cold call to, I'm trying to close the deal. There's a major difference. I think that was the major shift for me. Yes, it is a numbers game and all of that. And it is about making offers. But once you get real good, you realize it's like, dude, just throwing out offers to anybody just to get them on the phone. Yeah, I mean, you'll have success getting people on the phone. But are you closing deals? And it's not about making offers. It's about closing deals. That's what this business is about. It's closing deals. That's the bottom line. And the quicker you can get to the bottom line with that seller on the call, then the faster you can kind of get the rest of it. Because you didn't even ask me why I wanted to sell.
Yeah.
Let alone that. You thought you were just gonna go back and forth on price and try to get them down. It's like, you don't understand. We have a saying.
I was trying to like it's like why are you hard on like that extra 20 grand?
Yeah,
That's what I was really trying to do. Then I was gonna loop that around. But then you like I don't know, like sometimes that's kind of like I was talking about how I'm young, because like I have to bump my head certain times. Like that's the reason I got on here. Like
yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
Nah,
It's
dude.
like, all
Yeah,
right,
no doubt, man.
let me test what I got, what I found, and work it out, right? Um,
Dude, you have no
but
idea how much respect I got for you for getting on here. Like you have no like that's how I know you can make you will make something of yourself. That's how I know you might be closer to your deal, to your first deal than a lot of people because it's like yeah, it is about it's about willing to bump your head. It's like being willing to run head first in the dark because you want to get to where you're going. But if you got somebody, if you and there's gonna be many people, I'm not even just saying me and Byron in this podcast. On your journey, especially being a young dude, there's gonna be many, and I look back on it, it's many people that nobody's self-made. There's
No.
gonna be many people that's offering you advice. There's gonna be books that you're gonna read where it's just like, dang, right, I didn't see that. But you gotta realize is the you now and the you that closes your first deal, and then the you that's closing consistent deals, doing 100K months, is not the same dude.
Two different people.
You think your brain is different. It's totally different people. Your brain is different. And so when somebody if it's okay to be wrong. As a matter of fact, when I'm wrong, because Byron tell me like I'm younger, like I'm way younger than Byron, and he'd be like, you need to be doing this, and I'm like bumping my head on it. It's okay to be wrong because once I'm wrong and I realize it, I can be like, okay, now I've just grew. Once I
Yeah.
accept it, now I'm just grown.
And how old?
You know what I
How
mean?
old is Chris? How old is Chris?
Chris, how old are you, Chris? You said 21 or 22? He's
It's
22,
like,
man.
dude, tell Chris, man, I was 22. I bumped my head for 8 years trying to get started in real estate, bumping my head, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. It's like, dude,
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear Byron, man, but he said he when he was 22, he bumped his head for 8 years trying to get a deal. It's like learning, not even
dude,
trying to
you
get a
don't,
deal, but just trying to learn.
yeah, but you don't have to bump your head for that long. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
When you're 22,
dude, for
it's like
sure.
you
Hey,
gotta
Chris.
learn at some point that look, what if I'm wrong?
Yeah, man, that's big,
It's like,
bro.
what if I'm
Chris,
wrong?
I'm
What
gonna
if I'm wrong?
I'm gonna put up the the Google Doc so you can get to the script and we'll go over it. But text me on this number, man. Just text me your name and your email address so I can send you some stuff and we could talk more. But you have no idea. I really respect you for calling in and just
Yeah,
like
no
showing
doubt.
me. And you did a lot of things good, like handling the objections and everything like that. But let's jump back on the live so we can finish this up, man. But dude, I really respect you for jumping on
Shout
here.
out
You
to
on your
Chris.
way. I
Shout
can't
out
wait
to
to.
Chris.
I'm glad to say I met you, dude. Now, because when Chris closes first deal and Chris closing deals on top of deals, then you know what I'm saying. Just you knew me. Don't forget about me, Chris. Don't forget about me when you make it big, dog.
Yeah. Shout
But
out
yeah,
to
man,
Chris.
shout out to you. But please text me on this number and then send me your email address, and I'm gonna send you some other stuff, and maybe it'll help. But I really do appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
I appreciate it for sure. Thank you. I really appreciate all that.
No, absolutely, Chris, man. I'll see you on the live, man. But thank you.
But yeah,
And
man.
shout out to Chris, dude.
Shout out to Chris,
Shout
man.
out to Chris.
Shout out, man.
But yeah, Byron,
First
what
one
you
on.
was saying though is, yeah, for sure. But what you was saying though about not having to bump your head, that was big, man. What do you think about? And no, one time we was in a Sunday meeting and you was talking to Keithon, and you was just like, yeah, but if you knew what you know now, and you could tell your old self, wouldn't you have been doing deals? He was like, man, for sure, yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you say you're 22 now, but next
Yeah.
year you're gonna be 23. Next year you're gonna be 24.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you 30. And you still boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like, dude, at some point,
No,
you
that's
learn.
a good.
At some point, you look up and say, "Man, what if I'm wrong?" Like,
Yeah.
if I didn't wake up to that reality, I would still be 30-something, 35. Boom, 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 thinking that whatever I'm thinking must be the right way. It's like at some point, man, you have to wake up to realize, what if I'm wrong about whatever it is. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I thought that I could do this real estate thing a certain way. That's why it took me forever. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you young for now. It's like, 22.
Dude, no, that's such
But
a
now, it's like, dude, you're only 22
this
for a
year.
year.
Yeah.
It's like what happens
Yeah,
when
man.
you still ain't done a deal and you 30 like me? It's like, dude, what happens when you ain't done a deal and you like me? You got all the way to 30. It's like I was trying to do deals when I was 22. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to do deals when I was 22. I could not get a deal done. I turned 30 and still hadn't done a deal, man. I'm telling you.
Dude, and I couldn't do a deal do deals until I got with the right people and was just like, y'all know I'm gonna learn what y'all already know because y'all done deals and I'm gonna apply my hustle to it. Right? Because that's what you got is hustle, Chris. But I think what Byron is saying ultimately is bumping your head and that mentality of, man, I just gotta bump my that's not an age. That's not an age.
Yeah.
People is 45 and 50
And
still doing
bumping
stuff
their
that they
head.
don't that they know that they shouldn't be doing, and they haven't really let that sink. That's the
Yeah.
skill set. No matter how old you are or how young, it's hard to do.
There's
That's
people
one
who
of the
50.
things.
Dude, the truth and the reality is, and I ain't trying to say nothing. There's people who 50 ain't made it where I'm at.
Yeah, man. I mean, just like, but that's their goal to have done that a long time ago, and
Yeah.
they still haven't done
They
it.
still hadn't done it. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, it ain't nothing. You what? Who was that dude? That was it Jeff Bezos? Like, he didn't get Amazon to where it was until he was what?
Dude, you talking about? He was like at least 40 or something
That's what-
like that. And also, same thing with Elon Musk. Elon Musk didn't just take off as some 21-year-old phenom. It wasn't
Yeah.
like he created PayPal when he was like in his 30s, and then like Elon Musk is like 50, and I be
That's
thinking about him like he a 30-year-old dude. Like he's like
Yeah.
50 something. It's like
That's what I'm
it's like
saying, man. It's like you could that thing could change. You know what I'm saying? Or it could keep going on. It just depends on how you gotta mentally develop. You gotta grow, you gotta learn, you gotta be open-minded, you gotta
Yeah.
put stuff around the right people, you gotta listen. You know what I'm saying? It's like
dude, man.
like I said, if Jeff Bezos could have went, the 40-year-old Jeff Bezos could have went and told the 20-year-old Jeff Bezos, hey, look, this idea right here, da 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 da. Then he wouldn't have had to wait till you were 40. It's like, and the beauty of this is you got people sitting right here telling you we doing deals. This is how we talk to sellers. All you gotta do is go out here and do it. We ain't
Real talk.
hypothetically, we ain't telling you, hey, maybe this will work.
Yeah, I'm not telling you some video I watched and telling you repeating to you what I heard from a Jerry Norton video. I'm telling you what I do consistently, right? But here's the thing. I was that guy who was walking around. Well, I watched so many videos, so I know all of this. I was that guy. I was that guy who bumped his head. Like we was them boys who bumped our heads.
We the boys.
I'm telling you, dude, we bumped our heads. But man, shout out to Chris, because Chris just inspired me because I still like, there was a level when I was that age, 21, 22, when I was just like, I was so hungry, and I knew, I was like, dude, I'm young, I'm gonna make so many mistakes, but I gotta get it. And I just identify with Chris and that energy. But for him to call in and say, it's like, Chris, I've been telling myself, man, I want to join the Closer Olympics. So that way people I feel that confident that I can get off into the Closer Olympics. And I'll be watching the Closer Olympics on YouTube, and like some people be on there and they be trash, but they win. Yeah. Where I come from, the mentality that I represent, it ain't about whether you won or lost the fight. It's if you fought, period. As if you stood up and you fought, and that's what's respected. Period.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Because that's it's like your heart. And so it's just like Chris got me, like Chris jumped on here, and some of y'all probably could do better than Chris, or maybe not. I don't know, but y'all ain't.
But you gotta do it.
And I ain't even signed up for I've been trying to reach out to them. I don't know how to get on there, but regardless, it still taking me longer than it should have to jump onto the Closer Olympics, dog. If I believe myself, I'm inspired by Chris, I need to go on and jump on that thing, dude.
Yeah,
But
no
I
doubt,
say that
man.
to say it's all at all levels of the game. You still got to break through to the next level. So it's not an age thing. It's just everybody got like the level of understanding.
Yeah,
Honestly, you know what I'm saying? It's like so. I just want you to keep that in mind because you got to understand it ain't even just trying to get through to you on this structure of the cold call. It's gonna be other things that we got like you're gonna have to like challenge yourself on consistently,
yeah,
consistently. The millionaire we tend to think that a dude who's making $10 million and a dude who's making $100 million, we be like, man, they millionaires, they rich. The dude that's making $100 million is not like the $10 million dude. Them is
mm.
two different dudes. They probably don't even know each other or hang out in the same circles.
Hey, them
They
is two
don't
different
hang out.
dudes.
Because we all ain't, if you grew up like me, we wasn't rich. So we just was like, if you got 1 million, you the same as the guy with 100 million. No,
Yeah,
them is two different cats, right? And then the
yeah.
100 millionaire and the billionaire, they
Two
don't
different people.
they
Man,
don't know each
I'll be
other.
sitting there watching Shark Tank. I'm like, if Mark Cuban offered anybody anything, I'm like, go with Mark Cuban. It's like, dude, because that
Yeah,
dude is different, man. It's like, dude, that's a
yeah.
B. It's like, man, the other
That
people
is a
talking
good
about
point.
M's. Like the other people talking about M's. This dude talking about B's. Like, dude, his expectations are different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He like, dude, he in another room. He in the different rooms. It's like, man, it's
Yeah, it's simple, bro.
yeah,
It's
no
just
doubt.
his way of thinking. But I point that out to just to get your mind thinking, Chris. It's not just you need to break through your level to get to our level. It's like I got a level that I need to break through
Yeah,
to get onto the next level. Byron got to get onto the next
no
level.
doubt.
Matter
I'm
of
trying to
fact,
get to the next level.
Young Jeezy got to get onto the next
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
Mark Cuban need to get onto the next level because Mark
Jay-Z
Cuban
need
is
to
not
get on to the
on.
next level.
They not on Jay-Z and Mark Cuban put together is not on Warren Buffett's level.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying? I'll
yeah,
talk about Alex Hormozy. Alex Hormozy, it's like everybody got to like, it's a constant thing. You can
yeah,
always be cool with where you at, but I always say this, bro, doing don't sound nearly as cool as talking about doing.
yeah,
Or
no doubt,
doing
man.
it is not nearly as cool. So when you actually, it really take like, dang, you got to be wrong. Dang, I'm wrong. But shout out to him, man. But we gave you,
Shout
when
out
you
to
listen
Chris.
back to that, we gave him a visceral breakdown of two different approaches to cold calling. And one of them is just to get your foot in the door. I'm going to offer you a cash offer. And that sounds good. But then when you do that, you're going to, honestly, you may think that, hey, it gets more people to answer the phone. But really, it just gets more tire kickers. It's like
Yeah,
if you say it's when they put the sign up, you can get a car as low as $1,000, and then you know what that attracts? A whole bunch of people who want to buy a car for $1,000.
for cheap.
But but you're not trying to do that. So if you try to use a super grand cash offer to bait people in, then all you're gonna get is people who's looking for a high cash offer. But we're not trying to do that. We're trying to find people who are actually interested and motivated in selling. And what is your motivation? We're going to talk about price last.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Let's shout out some of these people, man. William Johnson, man. Shout out William Johnson. Got a super sticker from up in here, man. William Johnson, man.
Hey,
Shout out to you.
hey,
He
hey,
always
Byron.
coming through though, for sure.
Man, shout out William. Hey, Byron, how we going to split that, man? I was just thinking
Man,
maybe
hey,
we can
I'll
do
take
like,
99. You can take the dollar.
oh, dude, I'm about to eat tonight. What?
But shout out to William Johnson, man, for
Man,
sure.
shout out to William Johnson, dude.
So Hidden Treasure said Fort Worth in the building. Hey, man, we might need to connect with you.
Yeah, dude.
Calls, even though it was practice, bro, seems to get to be getting irritated. Yeah, no doubt, man. Sometimes you do, man. People get him, people get fired up about
Yeah,
stuff, man.
dude.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Kudos to Chris for
Yeah.
at least trying. Yeah, no doubt, man. Shout out to Chris for
Yeah,
trying, man. You know what I'm
dude.
saying? He
Chris
got
just
on.
inspired me, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But another other thing that I thought that he could do that I know that you done and know that we do is at the end when you kept saying 300, 300, 300, 300, 300, 300, and he was trying to get you at 285. First of all, once he got you at 300, like you said, if he's not the cash buyer, he could have easily said, "Hey, well, you know what? I'll take that 300 purchase price, take it back to my investors, see what they think about it. And
Yeah.
if they do come back at 285, should I even give you a call back?
Oh, dude, man. But again, dude, I don't
or
use that one on the cold call, bro.
yeah, but
That was
dude, I
you like that
it
one?
work.
It
It
does.
will work.
That one works, man.
Like it
But
works. Like if you said, hey, let's say they come back at 290, is it even worth giving you a call back?
but
Like
you
that's
see,
just a legit question.
but if you
It works,
use it
but
to
you also don't give them a price on the cold call either.
yeah,
So,
but no, I
but
got other ways of getting that price out of them and doing
you
that
don't want to do
negotiation.
that. But you probably don't want to do that if you don't actually know like where it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you don't want to do that unless you know like, hey, I probably got
that's
a
what I'm saying.
buyer. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly why, and that's why I usually do it on Leap because for that two reasons. That reason that you just said is because I'm like, this could be anything. So if I say that number, then it's boxing me in when I really need to get them. But then also too, it also works a lot better on the what we call the discovery call on the first when they make it at least to the lead manager or make it right past the lead manager before you trying to get them on the contract when you're doing it on a discovery call because then it allows you to soft negotiate and set their expectations up and to see and contest their offer to see if they about to fall back before you come at them with on the next call with is the real offer, right? But if you do that on the cold call, it's like you shot that off too soon. It's like you don't got it. And I'm thinking about playing chess. It's just like if I let that move go too soon, then I don't. Then what do I have after that? It's like so that's why I don't usually let that one go too soon. But if I feel it, and like you said, if I know, then definitely use that on the cold call.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Somebody like you, like if you're calling a certain area,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
like Clarksville or something like that. I'll be like, yeah, nah,
Like, or if I knew, like, cause I know what property sell for and stuff like that.
yeah,
I could potentially do that, and you could shoot low with that too. Like, you could use it as something that you shoot low with. Let's say, you can anchor low on that too. Cause who was that? Eugene. Oh man, Eugene. Yeah, like say if you came back and told like if he was asked for 170, 175, and you came back and said, hey man, if I send it to underwriters, they come back at 130. Is it even worth calling you back? Because they're more likely gonna say nah. And then you could probably, you know what I'm saying, negotiate to get them into an area. But it's a couple of different ways you could probably use that. But you definitely want to, like Cordero said, that's a big boy move. So you got to know what you're doing, man. That's
I mean, it's so smooth. It's so smooth. That's why Byron likes it. It's gonna work 100% of the time. But if I use it too early and then later on in the process I need it, I already used it. They ain't gonna go
it's
for
a
that.
big boy move, man.
They ain't gonna go for that again.
That's the one you say. That's the one you do say for the fourth quarter. It's like I ain't gonna make that move until I need this shot in the fourth quarter, and then I make that move. And then
yeah, exactly. Either the third or the fourth quarter, like you see, like oh snap,
a big moment. Like I need this.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say I don't always use that on the cold call, and I got other ways to pull a number out of them on the cold call. I don't. That's kind of one because that one gonna work, bro. Y'all use that one. That one gonna work.
Oh, it's gonna work for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. Man, y'all need to y'all get a hold of the Closer Olympics people and tell them that how do you sign up, dude? I don't know how to sign up.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Dude, we got Caritha in the house, man. Caritha then came through, man. Oh man. Big dog in the house. Caritha came through. Can't believe that, man. Good. Shout out.
Listen.
Caritha, man. Shout out Caritha. Caritha, a big reason why we was able to smoothly get this property on the contract, man, and get it listed. So, she was playing C's and then helping out with the content. And man, we was all to the race.
Caritha. Listen, we're gonna wear some shines, some I Heart Caritha shirts or something. I'm your number one fan, man, Caritha, man. Because this property, again, no matter how much money we make off this property in Fort Worth, It was just the proof of concept that was major for me, and the speed at which we integrated and the speed at which we implemented and took action. I'm like, dude, it got me feeling like, dude, if somebody teach us now how to, I don't know how to do Forex, we could do it tomorrow. Boom, we could. I don't know. It's just like it got me feeling like we can take action on anything, man.
Chris said, "Yeah, I'm going to change my script for sure because it's cold call to set up information for the close, not an intermediate close."
Exactly, dude. It's what it is to set up for the close. And that's why I talked about having a funnel. And if you're trying to close them on that first call, you will close some people on that first call. Like if it's just good and you testing them, ask them like, hey, if we can get you what you're looking for today, is there any reason why we couldn't get the process started today? If you feel it and that person's just super motivated, you can. But for the most part, it's like you want to cold call so that you can get leads. And by leads, I mean people who said, yes, they are looking to sell. And be okay with, I think the big problem is when you're cold calling, you're in that dialer, you get rejection after rejection. And it's hard to get 200-300 no's to get one yes. That's not easy to do. But be okay with getting 200-300 no's hang up in your face, because all of those people, if a person really is interested and you say, hey, are you interested in selling your property? They're not going to hang up on you. They're going to be like, yeah, actually I am. And you're going to be like, oh, I got one, right? But you got a real one, not one that you coaxed in with a number. You got a real one. So for sure, like I said, dude, I can send you a copy of the script if you can. You can you can text me on that number. But again, shout out to Chris, dude. Chris, next time if you watch the Closer Olympics, and when you watch the Closer Olympics, when you see me in the Closer Olympics, it's going because I've been wanting to do it, but now you done gave me the courage, like just go. You know what I'm saying? Even if you might hit your head, you got to do it. You just got to go sometimes. So I'm gonna shout you out, dude. I'm gonna shout out Chris Bird.
Shout out to Chris Bird. But shoot, man, this mug an hour and 36 minutes. Woo! We gave y'all a good one today, man. We got our first cold call role play in, man. We ain't gonna forget Chris, man. Hey, y'all people that's watching, make sure you like. Make sure you're ready to jump into this cold call role play next time we up on here and doing it, man. We'll probably, we open to doing it any day we on here. So Monday through Friday. Well, I would say Tuesday through Friday.
Monday.
Yeah, anytime you want to do cold call role play, man, just we gonna throw a little thing up here where you can call in, man, and we can get a cold call role play going Tuesday through Friday, man. So shoot, let's do it, man. But man, we finna get up out of here, man. I think we might have got some people to call. You call both of those Facebook leads today?
Yes, bro. Yeah, I did. They didn't. And one of them said she was at the doctor. The other one didn't even answer. I'm gonna call them back, but
you call Alvin? Dude. We call Alvin today?
I ain't call Alvin today. I usually call him later on in the afternoon.
Yeah, hit Al up. Yeah, man. We finna get out of this thing, man. Get back to wholesaling. But appreciate y'all coming through though, man. Till tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace out.